Right. Chapter 16. This is so much longer than Neil's, I feel like. Eventually, CAINE and I leave the water and meet up with Sarah and Kevin again. The hot sand underneath my feet actually feels like it's scalding my skin. It's so hot. I dash across the beach and back to our spot. Immediately, I sit in the shade and throw the tube onto the ground. I'm surprised the tube didn't float away. Hey, how's the water? Asks Sarah while she's holding onto her camera. Cold, but you get used to it, says CAINE as he grabs a towel from the lounger and starts drying himself off. Yeah, the water isn't perfect, but it's not super cold or anything, I explain. Great, sounds good to me. Sitting out here has made me feel a little dehydrated, Kevin chimes in. Oh, in that case, how about I get us all some ice cream, I offer. Strawberry for me, Sarah exclaims immediately. In that case, I'd like a lime popsicle, says Kevin. I look over at CAINE, raising my eyebrows at him, waiting for his answer. However, CAINE simply throws the towel at me, which I catch. I'm coming with you. I hug the towel close to my body, a little gleeful he's offering to come with me of his own free will. I start to slowly dry myself off as well. By the way, I took some pictures of you, Sarah smiles at me. You were spying on us. I start to wonder how much she's seen. At least she can't take pictures underwater. She must have snapped about 100 pictures of you two by now, says Kevin. Sarah shoots him a dirty look. CAINE bites down on his bottom lip, not looking too pleased about someone taking his picture. Don't creepily take pictures of me, CAINE huffs. They're not creepy, Sarah fires back. I think they turned out pretty well. Another annoyed huff, and CAINE stands with his back turned to us, ready to leave. He throws his head back at me while putting on his cap. You coming or what? Coming. I slip into my beach sandals and hurry up after CAINE. There's many small stores and cafes lined across the beach, selling inflatable toys, hats, sunglasses, and a lot of drinks and ice cream. Hey, do you really hate having your picture taken? I ask CAINE. CAINE doesn't look too impressed. Yeah, what about it? I guess you're not the selfie type of person, huh? Nope. CAINE then turns his attention to the aisle with popsicles. I guess CAINE has some bad memories with having his picture taken. He did tell me that everyone took a picture of him and humiliated him during prom night. It's a little sad because I would totally want a selfie with CAINE. I'm not going to lie. I should definitely ask Sarah about those pictures when we get home. CAINE crouches down to read the menu of their ice cream and popsicle selection. I stand next to him, looking for the flavours that Sarah and Kevin wanted. I want the cola-flavoured one. Sure, I'll get it. I opened up the freezer. Out the corner of my eye, I notice CAINE tilting his head up ever so slightly so he can peek at me from underneath his cap. I catch him staring at me, so he immediately tears his eyes away from mine with a small grunt. His cheeks are gradually turning red. I smirk down at him. Are you blushing, or is that a sunburn? CAINE immediately gets up and pulls the cap over his face, hiding away from me. Shut up, he growls, then quickly walks away from me. I giggle at his abrasiveness. He's so cute sometimes, the way he tries to hide being embarrassed. Catching CAINE staring at me gives me a thrill, though. Eventually, I pick out what everyone wants, including one popsicle for myself, and try to carry them in my arms. Now to find where CAINE has run off to. CAINE? I call out to him. I see him standing near the entrance, checking out some hats. Quickly, I walk over to him. You really like wearing hats, huh? I say with a smile. CAINE huffs, turning away from the rack of hats. No, I don't, he denies. What? Not only do you wear that beanie, but look at what you have on your head right now. That doesn't mean anything. CAINE starts walking away from the shop, back onto the beach. I hurry after him. Hey, don't be so grumpy. I like your sense of fashion, I say once I catch up with him. Didn't we steal these ice creams? I don't feel like you paid for them. CAINE turns his face towards me, staring at me for a little before his eyes see the popsicle in my arm. Sir. Swiftly, he takes one of them from me and opens up the packaging. I'm not grumpy, he says gruffly, and puts the popsicle into his mouth. I simply giggle at him as we walk back to our spot on the beach. Did we purchase them? I guess so. CAINE quickly heads for the cover of the parasol to get out of the sun and sits on the lounger. Kevin is sitting on the other while Sarah is down in the sand catching some sun. That looks so good right now. Sarah happily reaches for her ice cream. I hand the remaining one to Kevin and start unwrapping mine as well. Thanks, these are great to have after being in the sun for a while, Kevin says with a chuckle. I look over at CAINE, who's almost finished with his. Whoa, you're fast. Pops the sticker out of his mouth, showing only a small piece of ice left. He arches an eyebrow at me. Yeah, otherwise it melts, duh. Why, are you slow? Well, to avoid brain freeze, I take my time. Valkii just knows how to use her tongue, Sarah chimes in with a snort. Well, I can't ignore Sarah's comment. No, I can't. I turn my head to CAINE, then slowly dart out my tongue to touch the ice-cold popsicle. His eyes are watching my every move. Opening my mouth, I wrap my lips around the ice entirely, slowly pushing it into my mouth. I close my eyes as I take in as much as I can before slowly pulling it out again. With my eyes open once more, I see CAINE staring at me with wide eyes. Whoa, Valkii, you went to town on that thing, says Sarah in an impressed voice. Enjoyed the show? I wink at CAINE. Bashfully, he looks away from me, his eyebrows knitting together. He pulls his cap over his eyes so I can't see his expression. The fuck kind of images are you putting in my head? He mumbles quietly. By the way, Valkii, how much do I owe you? Kevin decides to ask, changing the subject. Oh, they were... Oh. I try to remember how much I paid, which is when I realized I haven't paid for them at all. A blank expression on my face as CAINE looking at me weirdly. Actually, I don't remember you paying for them, he recalls. I start sweating profusely as I look at the stolen popsicle in my hand. I was going to pay for them, but I wanted to find CAINE first, and then I got distracted and walked right out of the store with the ice cream and popsicles in my arms, forgetting to check out. A sense of dread and shame washes over me. I've never stolen anything in my life before. He's gonna be like, oh my god, we're 2 peas in a pod. Suddenly CAINE drapes an arm around my shoulder, having snuck up on me. You didn't pay for them, did you? He says in this haughty tone. I... Congratulations, Valkii. You're a certified thief, CAINE exclaims as he removes his arm from me, waving his popsicle in the air. He starts laughing loudly at my misfortune. I am not, I immediately deny. Did you really walk out without paying for them? Asks Sarah. I bury my red face into my hands, groaning loudly. It's okay, Valkii, it happens. You didn't do it on purpose. No need to feel bad, Kevin reassures me. Now who's the thief, huh? CAINE says in this smug voice. That's so fucking rich. I'm going back there to pay for them. CAINE stops laughing. What? Don't do that. They probably won't believe you. Of course they will. I've got the wrappers. I'll just bring them over to the register. Stupid. Just enjoy the free grub. CAINE rolls his eyes. I'm kinda on his side here, Valkii. It's only like a few euros. It's no big deal. Sarah gives me a sympathetic smile. Valkii doesn't seem to be the kind of person to accept that though, says Kevin. You're all driving me nuts. I'm going back. I walk around collecting the wrappers and race back to the store. I feel mortified. The clerks at the store, they laughed at me for returning and paying for the items that I took. My own popsicle is mostly melted by now. CAINE is the first one to ask how it went. Well, did you pay for them? Does your conscience feel better now? I did return them, I say. What did they say? Asks Sarah. They all laughed at me and said I should have just enjoyed the free popsicles and not bothered to come back. I drop down onto the ground and sit in the sand, my face all red. CAINE, as expected, busts out a gut laughing. Just laughs hard, without restraint. I told you. Sarah can't help but laugh as well. I should have gone with you. Well, at least you did the right thing. Kevin seems to be the only person on my side. Thanks, Kevin. At least some of us abide by the law. Suddenly, CAINE puts his cap around my head, pulling it down tight. I whirl around to look at him. What's that for? So you can hide your shame, he says while roaring with laughter. That little... I grab a fistful of sand next to me and fling it up at CAINE. He merely dodges it and dashes away from me, laughing even harder. I can't believe I like that guy. Picking myself up, I run after CAINE, trying to catch him. He's circling around our parasol, giggling at my attempts to reach him. Get back here. Oh no, Valkyie's wrath, whatever am I going to do? He says sarcastically. Hey you two, keep an eye on our stuff, okay? I'm heading into the water with Kevin, Sarah announces. She gives CAINE a pointed look. If my camera gets damaged or stolen, I'm holding you personally accountable. What? Why me? Sarah links around with Kevin, pulling him along towards the ocean. See you guys later. Bye, Kevin says nervously. He gets dragged away by Sarah. Now that CAINE's distracted, I see an opportunity I can't refuse. Reaching behind the parasol, I finally launch myself at CAINE. Not expecting such a move from me, CAINE yelps loudly as I tackle him down into the sand. Why do that? I pin CAINE down, holding one of his wrists so that he can't escape from me. I sit down securely on top of his waist. What the hell? CAINE looks up at me, clearly caught off guard. Do you have a thing for tackling me? That's what you get for making fun of me. CAINE tries to wiggle himself to freedom, but my body is on top of him. Keeps him trapped. Get off of me already, he groans loudly. Make me, I say arrogantly. CAINE's free hand shoots out to grab my wrist. Hey! I yelp. Within a second, CAINE's thrown me off him and quickly clambers over my body. This time, he's the one on top. I stare up at him in surprise, not realizing the extent of his strength. His necklace dangles from his neck, the pendant swinging back and forth between us. CAINE lowers his face towards mine, sending my heart racing. Wait, this position is... The only one who'll be doing any pinning around here is me, he breathes out in a low voice. Heat rises up to my cheeks in record time, flushing my entire face. A shiver runs down my entire body, responding to his words. Isn't this guy a virgin? I grit down on my teeth and I'm suddenly feeling like mush beneath CAINE. CAINE lifts the cap from my head. I'll be taking that back now, he says as he puts it on his own head. Then he finally removes himself from me, leaving me down in the sand, face red like a tomato. I'm speechless. Eventually I get up as well, sauntering back to the lounger and plopping down. CAINE is lying down on the other one with his cap pulled down over his entire face, so I cannot look him in the eye. I'm a little bit shell-shocked. I didn't expect CAINE to get on top and say something that made my heart leap out of my chest. Well, damn. I guess I really do like this guy. Eventually the sun has settled down, covering the landscape in a warm orange glow. All of us had our fun in the water, but by now we've gotten pretty hungry. We went back to our cabin, got freshened up and found a restaurant to eat at. The reviews are pretty good for this place, Kevin mentions happily. He's been browsing some review app for a while, letting us know which restaurants have had good reviews and which ones to avoid. We settled on this cozy place. Your hair is all curly again, I mentioned looking at CAINE. That's what happens when it dries, he grumbles. By the way, Kevin, you look super cute with your hair down like that, says Sarah. Immediately, Kevin bashfully looks away from her, growing red in his face. Doesn't it take a lot of time to style it like you usually do? I ask. It does, yeah, Kevin nods timidly. I'm starving, CAINE complains loudly, trying to change the subject. That's a little dramatic, I say as I turn to look at him. Are you kidding me? I only had that popsicle for lunch, if you can even call it that. I'm famished as well. Let's see what they have to offer. Sarah grabs the menu from the table. I grab one of the menus as well. CAINE's eyes grow wide when he sees the prices. This shit is expensive. He's not wrong. The average price for a main course seems to be around 20 euros, which is nothing to scoff at. You can order from the children's menu, says Sarah with a snort. Kevin chuckles at her joke, but CAINE simply glares at her. Was that another short joke? Oh, come on, lighten up. I'm sure there's something within your budget. I lean a little closer to CAINE and place my finger down on the menu, pointing out one of the dishes. Why don't we share this one? See? Surf and turf for 2 people. It's less expensive if we share. I guess, he drawls out, mulling it over. Doesn't seem like such a bad idea. Do you want to share this one with me then? CAINE shrugs. Sure. When the waiter has taken everyone's order and brought our drinks, I notice something peculiar about Kevin as he holds the glass in his hand. Hey, is that a scar I see? Kevin follows my line of sight towards his thumb. There's a small and hard-to-spot scar on his knuckle. Who cares? Yeah, you've got a grey eye, he says with a small smile. Most people don't notice. What? I didn't notice. Sarah reaches out for his hand, taking it within her own and expecting it. She doesn't notice it makes Kevin's face turn a little red. Cute, he's getting all embarrassed. Oh yeah, it's a small circle. How'd you get it? It's going to sound stupid, but... Sarah and I eagerly await for Kevin to finish the sentence. It was a water gun. Huh? Sarah looks confused as she drops Kevin's hand. Back when I was 10 or so, I had a water gun fight with my friends. Every time I'd pump the gun, it would slide across my thumb, scraping away some of my skin. I cringe at the mental image. That sounds painful. Oh, it wasn't at all. My hands were so pruny from the water I didn't feel it. That's why I kept doing it. Next thing I know, it turned into a scar. Kevin chuckles nervously. I hope I didn't disappoint you with such a mundane reason. Nonsense. Every scar is interesting. Sarah cheers him on. That wasn't interesting at all, CAINE complains. A water gun? Really? A fight with a dog would have been way cooler. Sorry for not being cool, Kevin adds weakly. Don't listen to him. Everybody's got a story to tell, Sarah says sagely. Like what, huh? CAINE fires back. Like my battle scars, Sarah exclaims proudly. Huh, you mean the ones on your thigh? I ask. What do you mean battle? Kevin sounds worried. Exactly, what kind of battle have you survived, huh? CAINE asks sarcastically. My battle with puberty. CAINE suddenly snorts out loud at that. Kevin looks a little phased. How can you say that so proudly? CAINE says with a snicker. I can't believe you, it's so stupid. He starts to laugh out loud. I can't help but join him until everyone has a good laugh. Do you have any scars on your body, CAINE? I finally ask. I didn't notice any when we were at the beach, but it's not like I was inspecting him under a microscope or anything. I've got an epic battle scar under my right foot, he boasts. After wrestling with a burglar when I was 8 years old, I threw him through the window and then stepped on a piece of glass. You're such a liar. I poke my finger into his side. Hey! CAINE jumps a little in his seat and glares at me. 100% true, no lie. Right, Sarah drawls out. No way can an 8-year-old throw an adult through a window, I point out. I know some judo, you know. Really? I never would have known with the way you let me tackle you all the time. CAINE opens his mouth to retort, but can't find a way to refute my fact, so he shuts it just as fast. Okay, fine, I got it because I dropped a bowl of cereal and stepped on a broken shard, CAINE says, clearly in a grumpy mood. Haha, I knew you were lying. I ruffle up his hair. CAINE pushes my hand away, fixing his fluffy hair. The judo thing wasn't a lie though, he grumbles. But you look so scrawny, Sarah muses. Well, obviously I don't do judo anymore, he huffs loudly. What made you do judo of all things, I ask. CAINE crosses his arms and looks away from us. No reason. Because he was bullied. Before I can pry another answer out of him, our food has finally arrived. CAINE and I got a shared surf and turf plate with mixed grilled meat and seafood served with a large portion of fries. My stomach rumbles at the sight of all the delicious food. Don't eat everything, okay? CAINE warns me. Do you think I could? I probably could. Yes. Well, tough luck. I'm hungry too, I say as I grab one of the shish kebabs and tear off the meat from the skewer. Haha, better be fast, CAINE. Valkii loves to eat, you know, says Sarah with a chuckle. Yeah, take an example, CAINE, I say with a mouthful of food. I'm not a pig, unlike you. Nothing wrong with enjoying food, Kevin pipes in. Thank you, Kevin. CAINE looks annoyed that Kevin and I are on the same page. He grabs one of the skewers as well, munching on the meat like a sour grump. But as soon as he tastes the delicious meat, his expression softens and the corners of his mouth lift up. Aw, cute, he's enjoying the food. Is it good? I ask. Yeah, he replies, amazed. I don't usually eat out, so this is a nice change of pace. Ah, I remember my college days. Ramen every day of the week, says Sarah with a heavy sigh. Those are my college days, Kevin adds with a nervous chuckle. Sometimes I forget you two are already done with college. We're not that much older than you. Aren't you finished in like a year or two? Sarah points out. A year for me, Kevin smiles at her. Then I get to catch up with you. Then you get to learn how to cook, Sarah grins back at him. Do you cook at home, CAINE? I ask. He shakes his head. No, I just get one of those dinner boxes at my job. I get a discount, you know. Can you even cook? Is my next question. I can cook, he responds defensively. Not burning toast doesn't count as cooking, Sarah points out with a hearty laugh. I can make pancakes, I'll have you know. Now that's something I want to see. CAINE cooking pancakes? I definitely want to see proof. You don't believe me, huh? Not one bit. Fine, I'll make you some damn pancakes, the best you'll ever have. I grin at him. I'll hold you to that. Be prepared to grovel at my feet to get a piece of me, he boasts arrogantly. I stop munching on my food. A piece of you? I think CAINE is not so subtly implying something here, Valkii, says Sarah. You're quite forward, CAINE, Kevin adds. CAINE's face suddenly turns pink. A piece of my food, I mean, my food. He quickly corrects himself, looking all flustered at his mistake. We all end up laughing at CAINE, enjoying the rest of our meal in good company with each other. The plate CAINE and I shared ends up completely empty. CAINE even offers to let me eat the last prawn, which I think is very sweet. Ah, I feel so bloated, Kevin complains. Same here, I just want to crawl into bed and pass out, Sarah agrees. Come on guys, we need to get back to our cabin. Did they leave on like a Friday or did they leave on a Saturday? So they're only taking one night there. We pay our bills and finally move out of the restaurant. CAINE suddenly taps his finger on my shoulder. Hey, he mumbles in a low voice. What? I'm going out to shoot pictures of the stars. Do you want to come? He asks a little bashfully. I eagerly nod my head, feeling myself swell up in a warm glow. Of course I'll come. CAINE can't help but crack a tiny smile at me. I can't wait to see the stars with CAINE. Okay, let's go. Chapter 17. We're getting there. We're standing outside the cabin. It's almost midnight at this point. CAINE's got his camera with him as well as a small tripod. He definitely came prepared. Sarah and Kevin are staying behind, opting to go to bed early. I look up at the sky, but because there's still some light pollution from the nearby city, the stars aren't as bright. We need to go to a deserted part of the beach. At least the sky is clear, I muse out loud. CAINE looks a little excited. Yeah, I'm hoping we'll be able to see it clearly with the naked eye. Let's find a good spot. I take out my phone to look for the best spot to view the stars and find one that's pretty close to us. About half an hour walk. That's reasonable. You ready? I ask. CAINE throws his tripod over his shoulder. Damn right I am. CAINE starts walking away from the cabin without waiting for me. I quickly run after him. Right before arriving at the beach, CAINE stops and turns to look at me. Close your eyes, he says. Huh? Why? There's this lopsided grin on his face, so boyish and full of charm. Because it'll look even better. Well, I can't walk when I can't see, I argue. CAINE throws his camera around his neck, freeing up one hand. He reaches for my own and grabs it. I'm thankful it's dark because that threw me for such a loop it made my heart start to race. Caine's hand feels warm and soft. It's making me a little nervous. You're really going to guide me? I ask. Why? You don't trust me? For some reason his question stumps me for a few seconds. Do I trust CAINE? I mean, sure, when I first met him I was apprehensive and on guard around him. I was worried he was going to steal or get me into trouble. There's no point in denying that I didn't trust him at first, but now that I've gotten to know him, seen all these different sides of him, I guess part of me has started to see him in a new light. That's why I close my eyes for him. Alright, but you better not ruin that trust, I warn him. There'll be hell to pay if you make me walk into a tree. CAINE sniggers at the thought. I mean, I could, he trails off. Hey. Come on, give me a little credit here, I'm not a douchebag. CAINE then tugs on my hand, trying to get me to walk forwards. A little hesitant, I take my first step forward. It's a little mysterious, unable to see anything and simply focusing on CAINE's hand as he pulls me towards the beach. My footsteps are slow and unsteady, sinking into the sand, sometimes stepping on a seashell. The ocean waves are getting louder. Suddenly, every sense of mine is heightened. Even CAINE's hand feels more intensive. I kind of really like it. CAINE slows down his pace and I match it until we both come to a halt. Okay, this seems like a good spot. CAINE finally releases my hand. Imagine... She said it was like half an hour away. Imagine having your eyes closed for half an hour. Like just walking. So, can I open them? I ask, a little impatient. In a second, let me set down my tripod and camera. I hear him scuffling in the background as I patiently wait for him to set up his equipment. Then I feel CAINE wrap his hand around my wrist. He's tugging on it. Sit down. I lower myself down into the sand, hearing CAINE sit down as well. Now, can I open them? I ask again. Go right ahead. Finally, I open my eyes. Wow. I was just waiting for that to come up. A gorgeous view greets my eyes. The sky is littered with stars. I've never seen that many before in my life. But the most breathtaking part of it all, the Milky Way, a patch of glowing dust stretching across the heavens, twinkling ever so slightly. I've never seen the Milky Way with my own eyes before, but now that I have, it's so mesmerizing I can't tear my eyes away from it. The beach is deserted. We're the only ones here at the moment. Wow, I breathe out slowly. It's amazing. I've never seen anything so gorgeous before. Sorry, I'm reading, but also my mind is going to why I don't have to do the fashion bits anymore. Do you think it's because I've already finished? No, it's not because of that. Okay, sorry, tangent. Okay. From the corner of my eye, I see CAINE slightly turn his head towards me. Yeah, pretty. My heart flips inside my chest. But you're not even looking at the sky, I point out. Flustered, CAINE quickly turns away from me. Shut up. Feeling a little bold, I press the issue. Are you calling me pretty or the stars? Obviously the stars, he exclaims. Ah, I say, unable to hide my disappointment. He didn't have to deny it so rigorously. That feels like such a blow to my ego. You too, CAINE mumbles under his breath. And just like that, my heart is oiled up again and running even faster. CAINE gets up from his spot and starts messing around with his camera. I'm going to take some pictures now. I wrap my arms around my legs, staring up at the beautiful starry sky. It really makes one feel insignificant thinking about the fact that the Earth is just a little speck in the universe. The shutter of the camera closes as CAINE takes his first picture. I hear the shutter several times in a row. He's taking a bunch of pictures one after another. "Wanna see?" he asks, unable to hide his excitement. I get up from my spot and walk towards his tripod, staring at the little screen on his camera. It's showing the last picture he took of the sky. Wow, I didn't realize you could zoom in that far. I'm amazed at the detail the camera has captured. I'm using an ultra-wide-angle lens that can capture a lot of the sky, CAINE explains. Oh, that's why it looks so detailed. I mean, I'm just using a budget lens. Your friend Sarah is the one with the really expensive lenses. I noticed the one she was carrying around. I honestly have no idea. I wouldn't be able to tell you how much anything costs, but regardless, those pictures turned out really good. CAINE smiles at me, happy that I'm showing interest in his hobby. Want to see something cool? Sure. CAINE goes back to fiddling around with his camera settings, then presses down the shutter button. I can hear the camera whirring for a few seconds before the shutter finally closes. I just took a long exposure picture of the stars, which means, CAINE shows the last picture he took. The stars have turned into streaks across the sky. Oh wow, that's neat. They look like shooting stars. For a while, CAINE remains quiet as I study the picture. The sound of the ocean has a relaxing effect on me. I feel so at ease with CAINE out here on the beach. Do you think he starts out in a quiet voice. I straighten my back to look at him. Do you think I could take a picture of you? I'm surprised he'd ask. Seeing the expression on my face, CAINE immediately shakes his head at me. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see your face or anything really, just your silhouette. No one would be able to tell it's you. I think it'd look cool against the Milky Way backdrop. He rattles off in a rushed voice. Slow it down, it's okay, I reassure him. You can take one. CAINE looks relieved. But why don't we take one together? I think that could look rather romantic, he suggests. Surprised he'd call it romantic, my heart ends up beating faster. The thought of taking a romantic picture with CAINE is definitely messing with my hormones. CAINE looks down at the sand, unable to meet my gaze. He stutters. Never mind, that sounds stupid. It's not stupid. I think it sounds romantic too. For a brief moment, CAINE remains still. Awkwardly, he spins around and presses a few buttons on his camera in complete silence. Then he quickly walks towards the water. He beckons me to follow. I catch up to him, standing next to his side. It's on a timer, 6 seconds left, he explains. What do you want me to do? I ask, a little unsure. Nothing, just be you. Me? What do you mean? CAINE reaches for my arm and pulls me in closer. Here, stand close to me. The camera snaps the picture. CAINE doesn't even bother answering me as he dashes towards the camera to look at the picture. I start walking in his direction as well. Huh, he says in surprise. I look over his shoulder to see the picture. There are 2 dark silhouettes against the starry sky. We're not in the center as we're not the focus of the picture, but it does look really nice. Because the camera took the picture as CAINE was pulling me closer, it looks like he's got his arm around my waist. We look like a couple. It's a rather romantic picture and I sort of really want it as a wallpaper on my phone. Not my usual style, but it turned out pretty good. Can I have that one? I ask. CAINE raises his eyebrows but then smiles at me. Sure, no problem. Gotta wait till I'm home on my laptop though. I'm a little sad to think about going home at this moment. This entire day has been so much fun I don't want it to end yet. CAINE ends up spending a little more time getting the shots he wants, while I sit in the sand watching him work diligently. He's got a surprisingly large amount of passion behind his hobby. Watching the stars like this, I'm inspired too. The fashion show I was going to enter, I think I know what theme I want to make now. The stars have always been beautiful to me, but this time it's totally captured my imagination, and it's also because CAINE's with me. I wouldn't feel the same without him. CAINE finally plops down onto the sand with me. Done taking pictures? I ask. Yeah, I've got a ton. I'm satisfied. I lean back to look up at the sky. I can stay and stare at this for hours and not get bored. What a day it's been, I murmur softly. CAINE also looks up. It feels much longer than usual. We stay quiet for a bit, lost in our own thoughts. CAINE pulls his legs up to his chest, then takes a small breath. You asked me today why I did judo, right? I nod my head at him, wondering why he's bringing this up. CAINE leans his chin on the top of his knees, staring at the gorgeous view in front of him. Bullies. Bullies? I repeat. Slowly he turns his face towards me, peering at me through his long eyelashes. He's got this vulnerable look on his face, as if he's afraid I'll judge him. Bullies. You thought that would help you deal with them? Yeah. Seeing the look on his face, however, it sounds like it didn't help out much. My heart aches for him. I know how it feels. I finally want to share some of my own memories. You know, I used to get bullied in middle school. CAINE raises both his eyebrows at me. He looks genuinely surprised. Really? Why? Why indeed? I don't know. Sometimes I guess I was too pushy and bossy. Other times I was too timid and weak. I could never get it right. People would tell me I was too stuck up, and if I tried to be nice, they'd tell me to speak up more. I couldn't win. I flash him a sad smile. You're not the only one with a bullied past, you know. I didn't know. You seem so great at dealing with people. It wasn't like that from the start. It took a lot of courage and hard work to get my self-confidence back. And people are still saying I have issues, like unable to accept criticism and whatnot. Those couple of years were definitely lonely for sure. CAINE looks right at me, his gaze then faltering. Yeah, lonely, he whispers softly. A peaceful moment stretches between us and the ocean waves filling up the night sky in the background, with the ocean waves filling up the silence in the background. Both staring at the twinkling stars in the night sky. I recall my own memories when I was younger and didn't have any friends. It was a painful period for me, but luckily that changed when I entered high school and I tried my best to make friends. But the memories of being an outcast will forever linger with you, which is why I empathize with CAINE so much. Today CAINE starts slowly. I direct my gaze upon him once more. Asking me to join today, just thanks. It was fun. A warm feeling spreads through my body, forcing me to break out into a smile. Yeah, I had fun too. I'm glad I asked you to come. CAINE finally lifts his chin up from his legs, staring at me. Why did you invite me? Because I like being with you. CAINE immediately ducks his head away from me, an incredulous expression on his face. I can tell he's bright red, trying to cover it up. What? How can you say it like that? He demands to know. Say it like what? Whenever you say shit like that, I can't tell if you're being serious or not. It's so hard to read. CAINE sighs loudly. You confuse me. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm being honest. Is that such a foreign concept for you? Yes, he immediately replies. Even that weird thing you did where you went back to pay for the ice cream when you could have easily gotten away from it. I didn't even realize people like you existed. Geez, way to make me sound like some rare specimen, I say while pouting. How did you do it? He asks. Do what? How do you stay so nice to people even though they aren't in return? I close my mouth, mulling over my answer. Does he want to know about my moral compass, why I returned to pay for the ice cream? Whatever. I accidentally pressed enter. I'm not going back up unless I can. Nope, I can't. I mean, you said it yourself. You got bullied too, so I don't get it. CAINE looks down in the sand with a forlorn look. People treating me like crap doesn't give me the right to treat others the same way. It really isn't that hard, CAINE. You just treat people the way you want to be treated. That's it. Yeah, there's some shitty people in this world. I've been bullied in the past, and even in the present. I still have to deal with them sometimes, but that's no excuse to do the same. CAINE stays quiet, his eyebrows knitted together in a very defined frown. He's lost in his own thoughts. I can't do that, he mumbles. It's not like I'm a good enough person or anything. That's not true. I know deep down you're the same. Deep down? CAINE doesn't believe a word I say. I mean, think about Chelsea. She's humiliated you and made your life miserable, no? CAINE grits his teeth at me. Yes, so? And yet you still helped her out. You could have chosen not to, but hey, you did. I bump my shoulder into CAINE's, giving him a reassuring smile. See? You're a good person too. He turns his head very slightly towards me, flashing me a tiny, bashful smile. He's like a little puppy and I kind of want to hug him. I think that has more to do with the fact that you were the one that asked me to help her out, he admits. I don't think I would have helped her if I were alone. He stares at me, a smile appearing. But you, on the other hand, you would. You're crazy. Then he chuckles, a sound that lifts up my heart as if I'm soaring through the night sky. Crazy and amazing. My cheeks feel like they're on fire as CAINE's compliment bounces around in my chest like a bunch of endorphins being released. I'm unable to keep eye contact with him, feeling really quite happy hearing that coming from CAINE. Valkii? I feel bad for dragging you into my mess that time in Boonma, I mean. Pretending to be your girlfriend. CAINE shakes his head. No, I mean... He looks at me, his eyes clear as the stars in the background, for randomly forcing a kiss on you. He then shyly turns away, rubbing the back of his neck. Ah, that part. You already apologized for that, I believe. I know, but CAINE rests his chin on top of his knees again, letting out a deep sigh. That wasn't cool of me. Honestly, while I was annoyed at the time that he kissed me without consent, I'm over that anger now. It's okay, I reassure him. I would like a heads up next time. Ah, yeah, sure. Wait, what? CAINE's eyes grow large. Next time? I shrug and smile at him. I'm not going to deny I want there to be a next time. Only this time around, I want it to be mutual. What? He repeats in a flustered voice. My hand sinks onto the sand as I lean towards CAINE, closing the distance between us. Daringly, I tilt my head so that our faces are only inches apart. CAINE can't help but stare at me like a deer caught in headlights. He's turning redder by the second, his face matching his hair. I said I would like a heads up next time. Ask me or something. Ask? CAINE gulps. I nod my head. What if you say no? There's only one way to find out. I smile mischievously at him. CAINE's mouth drops open, but no words come out. He seems rather shocked at my assertiveness, but I'm not backing down. I move just the tiniest bit closer, our noses almost touching. I can feel his breath on my face. I can count the freckles on his cheeks. He looks so frightened and embarrassed. I love seeing this side of him. Can I? He stutters. Can you what? I tease him. Then suddenly his eyes glaze over as if he's suddenly not afraid anymore. He tilts his head to the side, leaning in closer, his lips only barely touching mine. Can I kiss you? He asks in this husky voice. Oh god, yes. Kiss. Oh, let me get rid of it. Okay. Oh, sorry. I have to take another. You know what? We'll carry this on in the next one.